Hi there. Welcome to our information session on pre-departure to the US. This video will cover the most essential things that you need to know before traveling to the US as a student. This video is presented to you by Plus Prep Education based in Bangalore, an overseas education company. We specialize in overseas education as well as some of the technology programs. So let's look at some of the key factors and the most important things that you need to keep in mind before traveling to the United States. So let's look at the documents first. Some of the most important documents that you need to keep in mind and of course keep with you all the time are listed out here. One is the Form I-20, the original form, the original passport with a valid F1 visa, your Form I-94, which is the most important document that you would need at every stage of your stay in the United States, your demand drafts, traveler's checks, currency. We'll of course look at all of these in detail as we go on. Any sealed documents that the US consulate may have given you, your academic documents, transcripts, and other records which you may need to present to the university, your vaccination certificate, and your letter of admission or financial aid if you got any. So these are the most important documents that you need to keep with you, and keep these documents with you all the time during the flight, and have a couple of sets photocopied and keep it at home or any other place which you think is going to be safe. Next we look at luggage or baggage which you need, which you may need to know. The limit in most cases is around 23 kilos, which approximately turns out to be 50 pounds. Try not to exceed the limit. In case you do, you will have to pay a lot of money to ensure that the luggage gets passed through the airline. And 8 kilos is a prescribed limit for the cabin baggage. And talk to your airline for any special offers or allowances that you may get, especially as a student. And plan your baggage wisely and ensure that you split the things between your cabin baggage as well as your luggage. And there are specific regulations with respect to size and dimensions of the baggage, and it's important that you know them before you buy them. And next we look at port of entry. Port of entry is the first place that you land in the destination country, in this case the United States, where you check out your bags and claim them, even if you have a connecting flight to a different city. For example, let's say you're traveling from Mumbai to LA and you land in Dallas. Dallas will be your port of entry because that is the first place you land in the destination country, which is the United States. Your first encounter with the Department of Homeland Security happens here. So most of the formalities will happen here, including customs check, your I-20 stamping, fingerprint, and other formalities which you may have to go through as soon as you land. Listen to the instructions which they may give you, and it's extremely important that you follow all the procedures. Even if there may be some things which you don't understand, and it's important that you ask them and fill out the forms in the way it needs to be filled. This normally is a lengthy process and it can be stressful as well, so keep calm. And also it's better to keep some low value currency like $1 bills and $5 bills, which may be needed for porter services especially. Next we look at immigration. The immigration process is a long process, and it can take up to a couple of hours sometimes. So you'll need to know what you're expected to do in the immigration, and we look at some of the important things here. As soon as you land, before getting off the plane, you'd need to fill a form called as I-94 form. It's a white form, a long white form, and also a customs declaration form. This form is extremely important. And once you get off the plane, you'd need to proceed to the immigration clearance counter for the formalities. Again, expect a long queue. If your connecting flight is scheduled soon, ask the staff for help. Sometimes they may be able to help you move the line or probably finish the process earlier. And declare the dutiable items if you're carrying any. Better not to. In case if you're carrying some of the items which are dutiable, ensure that you declare them in the form. If there is nothing that you're carrying which is dutiable, just mention 0. You'll also need your I-94, the I-20, passport, and other documents here. You'd be given a part of the I-94 form, and this is something which you'll need to carry till you leave the country. So if you're staying there for, let's say, the next 2 years or 3 years, you will need this form at every stage of your stay in the United States. You'll also be asked some questions, and be very honest about what you answer here. Do not lie or hide. It can cause a lot of trouble. And these questions will be generic questions about you or what you're carrying. So there's nothing to worry here, but be honest about what you say. And the next thing, of course, is to collect your baggage and then proceed. The other thing which a lot of students find it difficult or probably get confused is the electronics, what to carry, what not to carry. Do remember that some of the non-quad band phones does not work in the United States, so you don't need to really carry them. And also buy an international SIM card, uh, which you can get, of course, in India itself. Maybe for the initial few days it will help. And also remember the call rates are very very expensive in the United States compared to what you have it in India or some of the other countries in Asia. And to purchase a postpaid connection in the US, you need a good credit history, which will normally take a few months. So you may not be able to get a postpaid connection immediately until you build your credit history. And do not carry any other electronics or electrical appliances, even dryers or trimmers, etc. It's not necessary, and most of it won't work in the US. Books, the next thing we are going to look at are the books. Books, of course, are going to be extremely important for you as a student, and most students prefer carrying books with them since textbooks can be very expensive buying in the US. But before you buy any books, get in touch with some of the existing students and identify the need before packing half of your luggage with books. Right. So, or you may not be using all the books that you carry. So you need to know what you actually need, and if it is going to be worth packing your luggage or your baggage with books. Know your course. Research on the requirements before buying or packing them. You can of course borrow the books from library in your college or sometimes even from a different college. And be smart and know what is needed and what is not with books. So this is one of the key aspects which students normally don't understand. Uh, they tend to either overdo it or underdo it. So you'll have to be a little smart and need to understand what is actually required and what is not required before you proceed to buy books. Money. Again, this is something which most of you may know, but let's look at it. Look at the most important things which you need to know about carrying money. Try to get an international debit card, which is going to be extremely helpful. You can also carry traveler's check. It's probably the next best thing to cash, and most people accept traveler's check. Stock up a few lower denomination notes, like $1 or 5 or $10, because higher denomination may not be accepted in some places. So it's better to have a few lower denomination notes or coins with you. And do not carry more than $2,000 in cash. Other forms of money can be up to $10,000, like traveler's check or the other ones, but you would not need so much while you're traveling. Other things which you will need to know is, of course, know the terminology of some of the common household items and terms. It can be completely different from what you're used to. Try to get in touch with some of the existing students to understand the location and any issues they may be facing, and be prepared before you go there. And if you wear spectacles, carry a couple of pairs of glasses with you. Carry some general medication. carry extra sets of transcripts. This is going to help you throughout your course. And know your flight itinerary. Keep your contact of the university handy with you, just in case if you need to reach out to them. So keep those numbers and email IDs and address with you all the time. Some of the things which are good to know are, of course, if you need something vegetarian, specify no meat. This is this may be different for you if you're coming from India, because vegetarian means vegetarian, but it may not necessarily mean the same to someone in the United States. So if you're particular about having a vegetarian meal, specify no meat. Ask questions whenever you don't understand. The electricity ports are of 110 volts, unlike 230 volts in India. Open a bank account as soon as possible. This will help you to build your credit history, and pay your dues or fees on time. And this again is related to your credit history, especially the dues which you may owe. And penny would mean 1 cent, nickel would mean 5 cents, quarter would mean 25 cents, which you will of course encounter a lot when you're there. And as we mentioned again, try to maintain a good credit history every single time, and open an account in your name wherever possible, whether it's electricity, phone, or wherever you can. Try to open an account in your name, and be wary of strangers. This of course is universally applicable. And if you have any questions related to traveling to the United States, or how to apply to the universities, or any other questions you may have with regards to studying abroad, you can always reach out to us at info@plusprep.com. That's info@plusprep.com. You can also call us or even visit us. So hope this video was helpful to you, and we look forward to see you again. Thank you.